hello everyone, and greetings from New York City here on the East Coast. Damian Speck here, Channel Partnerships Manager for North America. So we'll start off with the big numbers, but there's one number I want to throw out there first, and that's 6.3 trillion. That's the number I have. That is the U.S. national debt. It's not Jeff Bezos' net worth, but it is the e-commerce sales predicted for 2023. All right, so the question I hand is, as a brand, how do you gain a bigger portion of that, right? So that's 6.3, especially in an increasingly competitive global purview. It's challenging, but that's the topic we're going to discuss today. So how do we get that through selling through various marketplaces, going abroad, and gaining new customers? But the topics here, 21%, that's the global e-commerce, that's the e-commerce sales. That's for the entire global sales. But if you go to the US, closer to 14 to 15%, so a little bit behind. So about 900 billion for our US e-commerce sales. Though some of our sales insights internally, we're seeing around 75% of e-commerce sales could soon be through marketplace format. Some are even already there. That's going to be really through the APAC region. But for brands and retailers, selling on marketplaces is certainly a huge opportunity. No mystery there. Although expansion, as we're hearing, through so many facets, not just actual sales, but taxes, delivery, all of these different things, it can be complex and challenging. So the vast majority of the searches are already happening through marketplaces, right? So we're seeing it in different stats, different sources, but Amazon, roughly 2/3 of searches and purchases going through Amazon to start. So customer behavior is evolving. And that sales funnel has shifted to marketplaces as their starting point. So being present in those marketplaces during the customer journey can really help convert customers from walk-in to retail to e-com to now hybrid 1P, 3P to dedicated marketplaces. There's constant evolution in this space. That's probably not going to change at this point. It's never static. And so while consumer behavior is always changing, that's well recognized. So too is the retailer landscape. All right, some of the well-known retailers are transitioning or augmenting their online business with marketplace capabilities. Macy's could be a good example of this, right? So we're on 34th Street, up the street from where I am right now. But yeah, they've transitioned from just a retail standalone store and then to e-commerce, and then from there they've had a lot of success. A lot of it has to do with just getting more offerings in, reducing their risk, getting smaller brands, niche offerings, maintaining SKUs so they're not out of stock on very much in-demand products. We've seen this successful transition for not just Macy's, but even Best Buy, say in Canada. So Best Buy US is still just a retailer. That may change, but for Best Buy Canada, yeah, they are now embracing the marketplace model with great success. And so lastly, last point there, social platforms. So Instagram, TikTok, the huge user base. Their traffic can't be denied, and so I think there's increasing opportunity for new revenue streams for sellers to embrace that model. So finding suitable marketplaces. As a seller, they're looking to cross border. You're looking for more opportunities. The question then becomes, where do I start? Where do I go? That's a natural question. So you're not even thinking of the other problems that were brought up before about taxes and merchant of record, and you're not even there yet. You want to know, where do I go? Where do I map out? So we break down that question into further considerations. And so we won't get to that here, but as a seller, you start to think, okay, what's next? Local channel per country. What's the right channel to use? Which products are going to be optimal for that channel, for that country? It's okay, we break down by horizontal, vertical, which products or services, how niche is the marketplace, and so for those who don't know, vertical, right, it's going to be less with the width, more about a concentrated type of product. And horizontal, your Walmart, Amazon, right, a little bit of everything. But yeah, marketplaces like Amazon or eBay are certainly excellent options. You can't deny that. Similar UX across all markets. And then while maybe more curated marketplaces offer a lot of potential, just from strong margins. There's a reduced competition. They vet who's coming in, who's actually selling. So it's something to consider. Of course, and the last one, consumer behavior varies across regions. I think we're all in the U.S. right now, but the main goal here is to go outside the U.S. if you're a U.S. seller, and if you're coming from Europe, you want to come into the U.S. Right? And so, say from the EU, you're going into APAC. It's very much a different type of strategy, and so a lot of these things have to be kept top of mind. Yeah, so getting into the marketplaces, a lot of these you all will know, but those who again are coming into this conversation, to this webinar, who don't know the U.S., who are exploring, maybe they don't know too well. So it's a quick run through, but Amazon, eBay, Walmart, good generic or horizontal marketplaces, Wayfair, Overstock, Bed Bath & Beyond, more for home decor, Belk, Macy's, apparel, home, beauty, much of a mix of things. Although Belk, Kohl's, maybe a little bit more regional. Back market, Newegg, eBay, good for electronics. Back market solely focused on refurbished electronics, so more niche. And let's say lastly, Target Plus, highly curated, more challenging to get access to, but certainly huge upside of site traffic and growth, and including Canada and LATAM. Yeah, so you have that expansion of those main names, Amazon, Walmart, but then LATAM, you have Mercado Libre. It's kind of like their Amazon, if you will, based out of Brazil, but they have entities throughout LATAM. And then again, in Canada, the Bay is a big one, so a little bit more premium maybe in a way than Macy's, but they're also growing. So going over the Atlantic into the EU, a lot of these names you may not know if you're coming from the US, you're coming from Asia. And the first thing you might notice, there's no Amazon or minimal eBay. So they're not so concentrated. They're not the primary markets there, right? So when it comes to marketplaces, you have to think about it a little bit differently. Okay, so if they're not the biggest players, which ones are? What do they sell? How much do they sell? What's their audience like? What's their user base like? So that's one of the things, challenge you can do is we have staff globally. We have offices from Australia to New York City. So we help guide our sellers with those reps that are in market that know those marketplaces. But just starting off with some of these names, Zalando, About You, good fashion marketplaces. Going more specific to countries, Cdiscount, Fnac in France, Otto, Kaufland in Germany. Those are the big players. OnBuy, Frugo in the UK, Allegro is a big one in Poland, and for Netherlands, our home base, bol.com is the destination to sell. And then APAC, yeah, going there, like Europe, many marketplaces aren't Amazon, aren't eBay. A lot of local players in East Asia, Coupang in Korea, Rakuten in Japan, Lazada in the Philippines. These are big players. They are the number one player. So again, knowing the dynamic between those marketplaces, consumers that shop there, coupons, I think in APAC is a thing. So how do you navigate that, the credit back? And so these are complex topics, maybe not as complex as taxes, but still something to keep in mind. So the marketplace dynamics are certainly different. So this is just a rundown, right? So it's just things to keep in mind, prominent points to summarize, really what to consider. So is it open, is it closed, horizontal versus vertical, the shipping, if you're doing it domestically or using a partner, B2B, B2C, new, so on and so forth. So just all these things you want to consider. Yeah, expansion, it really, these 3 points. Expansion is not just about revenue. Of course, that is the name of the game long term, but it's really about, I would say one word really sums it up, and it's brand relevance or being relevant, right? So expansion is great, but long-term success is about staying relevant, having availability, being available, less susceptible to risk of being concentrated in just your Amazon, being concentrated in just Walmart, right? So expanding out and reducing that risk, and improving brand recognition from just being outside one or two marketplaces or just maybe one store. Here's the transition. So it's all not, it's not so bad. There's ways to solve for this. But yeah, through all this, we could see managing marketplaces is hard. It's difficult. It's not easy. There's a lot of things to take into account. And again, this is beyond the taxes. This is before we get there. All right. So this is actually selling. This is just, ignoring all those other things. How do I sell in these marketplaces? I'll worry about the taxes and everything later. Yeah. So if you don't have a partner, if you don't have a solution, manual tasks will limit that. It could be very complex when it comes to the rules of the marketplace. They are diverse and they're always changing. Lack of control in the product offerings, inventory, outsell or overselling. All right, so you have inventory that's going to be listed on multiple marketplaces, right? So all these kind of nuances. Managing the buy box, losing the buy box. So limited oversights, and the list goes on. So if you're not able to automate these things, it may not make the endeavor feasible. And then lastly, the APIs, they are tough to build. It takes months to build, and then you have to manage the APIs. So having a partner in place to do it for you is key. And here we are. So Channel Engine, this is what we do. All right. So you link your backend system on the left to us, and from us, we connect it to the marketplace. So through Channel Engine and e-commerce integration solution, we build a complex marketplace APIs. The sellers don't have to. It's that simple. All right. So it's a single connection. Right. That's what's here in the middle. All the backends, the PIMs, the ERPs, even logistics partners feed that data in to us, and when we send it along in the right format, so product content, price, quantity, order status, in that right format to each channel, while maintaining current stock levels across those active channels. I would say, what's more, we help clients guide through the complexities of the marketplace expansion, and really to embrace the excitement and minimize the angst. So I think a lot of what we're hearing is kind of this angst of going abroad and the challenges that can be present. But yeah, this helps reduce a lot of that.
I just want to stop here for a second for people who
Sure.
might be typing elsewhere and they might be like, have been like just sort of passively, this is the moment. So if you're trying to sell on marketplaces, whether it's domestically, whether it's internationally, and you want multiple marketplace presence, Damien and the team at Channel Engine are within the class of service providers, I'm assuming, that are called kind of like marketplace syndicators. I don't know if that's a term, Damien.
Close. We would say we're integrators. That's a common, an integration or integrators. That's a common used term. Sure.
Okay. And so the idea here is just to do this like visual of this, right? You've got all your stuff you're selling off your own website, or maybe just on one channel, let's say Amazon. You can now syndicate your products on multiple marketplaces and manage the inventory to allocate to different marketplaces. You can manage I presume your marketing spend. I'm not sure if that's also part of it. Can you do that too, Damien? Marketing spend allocation?
We work with different agencies, so it's not just the marketplaces. So we have logistics partners, we have agency partners, and the marketplaces themselves. So we're awesome. Multiple facets of the different channels that we can work with. Sure.
You can adjust your pricing across different marketplaces and different. So it's really cool, and it's really a game changer for a company, whatever size, really, that says, look, I don't want a whole siloed team on each marketplace, nor can I afford it, right? So exactly. I'll stop there. I'm just excited. I'll let you keep going.
Thank you, Josh. Yep. So here's a quick video.
I like this.
So here's the thing: there's no sound, so it's not that exciting. Well,
I can make sound.
Well, I'll talk through real quick. So here's a dashboard. Here's your control center, command center, the various marketplaces that'll be around. Right, and the left would be some of the options. But yes, you'll have your products come in. You'll be able to manage it with if and statements. Right, so that's your categories. You have your mappings. Again, using if and statements.
It's pretty amazing.
Different configurations. Yeah, it's very user centric. It's quite intuitive.
Again,
get a lot of positive feedback.
You can see your volume, right, as that was showing you across all your marketplaces, as well as isolated per marketplace.
Well, yeah, you can go into specific marketplace. You can see your sales, whether that's seasonal, right? So you can filter the sales there, and then you can see aggregated sales data as well. Right. So if you come to that dashboard, you'll be able to see everything, all the sales happening. And then when you go into each active channel, then you can see pinpoint, this is what's going on with that channel. And so the value is really, if you're managing a larger operation, if you are a medium to enterprise level client, you're looking to scale even greater. How do you manage so many marketplaces? You have to go into each channel separately to see that data. You got to go and manage those products individually. The staffing you would need to continue to grow and scale, it's tough. It's challenging. It gets expensive. We eliminate a lot of that by putting it to one tool where you can manage all the marketplaces in one shot. You can see all the data. You can see your listings. You can see where there's errors. It's quite powerful. We're rather new in the US, and we're gaining popularity. It's just the tool works.
Yeah, very cool. That is Channel Engine, Damien Speck. And again, contact somebody if you want to talk to someone about this more and learn about it. There are other solutions out there. They're not the only one. I personally, from what I've told from clients and tech services, they say it's a really tight solution and they like it. So I would definitely start talking to them and see if you want to start optimizing your marketplaces. And with that, Damien, thanks for joining us for the GrowBig initiative.
Thanks so much, Josh. Appreciate it.